This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, let me kick myself out. If not, this recording will not start.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yes. You want this recording, right? So everyone are dependent on recording. Yes, Bhargavi, Isaac, Yasin, Mukesh, Krishna, Rohil, Pasha, Sheikh Wase, Bhanu Prakash, and Upendra. I hope everyone are doing good. And today we are going to get into the first ever technical class, right? So, what is the first ever technical class, guys? Administration class. Oh, yeah. Technical class, that is R3 architecture. So, can you please write down the heading as R3 architecture? R3 architecture. Guys, everyone, first of all, listen to this. I hope like everyone have an idea about who is a mean fellow. Yeah. So while learning the subject, you become totally mean. I hope you understand what you mean by mean. So if you don't understand anything, don't let me go further. So till you understand the subject. So today, whatever the class we are understanding from prospects of basis administration is very, very important. And we can consider this particular class to be a foundation class. So this class will make your foundation very strong. So let me pull up a deck or else go to the location wherein this description is precisely given. And these all documents, whatever you're seeing, guys, these are majorly for the people who are online. Because if I just speak, the people who are online, to what extent they are understanding, we cannot understand. So for that reason, I have kept this deck. Hopefully, you're able to see R3 architecture in front of you. So rather R3 architecture, guys, the good name is R3 architecture of software applications. So in one sense, we are going to understand the architecture of all the softwares which are released between the time frame of 1992 to 2003. Yes, any and every software which is released by SAP between this, or which was released in the world, not by SAP, guys, which are released in this in the world, we are trying to understand the architecture. So before we start, the fundamental thing what I like you guys to have an understanding about is what do you mean by R? There should be something which is called as this R, and there should be something which should have a meaning about pre. The moment I say R, most of the people would say R to be release. But here, R doesn't mean any release. R means real time or runtime. Real time or runtime. Now, the big question what strikes your mind is, sir, what is this real time? Yes. So, what should be the answer for the question? What do you mean by real time? Guys, anything and everything which runs with the time is a real time. Now, a question should strike your mind. Are we human beings real time people? Are we running with the time or everyone sleep in the night and go back to your childhood? It's never like that, right? So that means we are very much real time people. We are living in the time. We were in past. We are now don't know we will be there in future or not. Yes or no? So we are going to discuss about such softwares which run real time environment. So to be more precise on this, I will give you an example. I didn't start your class yet, guys. Before starting your class, I'm giving a warm up to you. So I'm going to give you an example of a bank. Today, the moment you hear a word bank, which bank strikes your mind? For me, ICICI Bank strikes my mind first. Guys, how ICICI does business today? Obviously, ICICI is doing the business on some or other software. And you know that that software also is SAP software. So now let us look at the server on which a software is loaded, right? Server in the sense like you have a hardware. On that hardware, operating system is loaded. On that operating system, a software application is loaded. So now think that you are an admin for that particular software, and you went at OS level and you have rebooted that operating system, or you stopped that operating system. What would happen if you stop the operating system on which ICICI Bank is totally running for 10 minutes? What would happen? The entire transactions which are running across the globe will stop. So not only you have stopped it, but you have changed the date back to yesterday and then started it. So now ICICI Bank server runs on yesterday's date. What would happen? Yesterday, lot many transactions has happened in the system for sure. Yes. On the same transactions which are stored in the database on a particular time and date, you are again storing the transactions with the same date and time. So ultimately, that software would become useless, or that data becomes useless. So that means no one should touch the date and time of a system on which some software applications are running real-time business. So as the time grows, the ICICI Bank server records all the transactions which has happened in that particular time period. Now it is recording. Now in last 10 minutes, what do you think? In last 10 minutes, what do you think? How many people might have done transactions on ICICI Bank throughout the globe? Might be in lakhs. Yes or no, guys? Might be in lakhs, right? Throughout the globe, I'm talking about. So now it is very critical, and we have understood that they have to go with the time. So no one should hamper or no one should finger on the date and timestamp of the system. We are going to discuss about such software applications which are running such type of real-time businesses. And today, every business is a real-time business only. I have just taken an example of a bank, but any business is a real-time business. You cannot hamper the date or time of it. So we are here to discuss about such software applications which are running real-time environment. Now, when you talk about your three, what does this three mean? Guys, three means to develop a software application, obviously you need to have certain entities in it. The three entities of a software application are considered as presentation. In today's language, what do you call that presentation as? UI, user interface. What is that user interface, guys? Your Internet Explorer is your user interface. If you type in icicibank.com, what is your interface now? Your interface is web browser. If you give your login details here, you will be logging on to a bank server. The server might be kept somewhere in the world. No one know, in the cloud somewhere, right? So that is your UI, a software entity which is running a real-time environment, and it has precise presentation. When a user logs in and give his details, that login information would go to application. Application is an entity which is going to process that your user ID and passwords are correct or not. Yeah, rather this application would go into database, check whether the user exists there and his password is right or not. Yes, if it is right, it is going to give you a login. Yes or no? And what is database here? Storage. Whatever the different transactions you are doing, the entity which is storing that transaction is storage or database. So if you are designing a software, that software has three tiers and it is used to run a real-time environment, then we call that software application as three-tier architecture software application. Clear, guys? Now, how does a three-tier software application look like? So, and when the software applications were there in the world, between 1992 to 2003, these software applications are developed. These software applications were developed for one purpose, that is real time, and they are developed on three tiers: application, database, and presentation, acting as an individual entity. So, this is our core class which we have to discuss. Still, I didn't start any class yet. I'm just explaining you what we are going to discuss eventually in the class today. So, everyone got a scale that we are going to discuss about these things. But before I discuss about these software applications, I need to think about what was before 1992. There were softwares. The people have designed those softwares as well. The purpose of that software was also to run real-time environment. But those softwares were called as R2 architecture software applications. And these software applications exist between time frame of 1980 to 1992. And these software applications were designed in which form? Application was used for processing. Database tier was used for storage. This is one tier. And presentation were used for user interface. This is one tier. So here, application and database were acting as single tier. So they are clubbed. No one understands by looking at it what's an application and what is a database there. Got it, guys? Yes. So such type of softwares were called as R2 architecture software. And before 1980, didn't we had any softwares? Yes, we had. And between 1970 to 1980, these software applications exist, and these are called as R1 architecture software applications. And how they are developed? Application tier, database tier, and presentation tier. All were clubbed as one unit. To discuss three-tier architecture software application, I have to start my class with R1 architecture software. I have to explain you very clearly what was the purpose behind people developing these softwares, what was the usage of that softwares, and what are the limitations of that softwares, so that people have thought about R2 architecture softwares. And next, I have to discuss about how R2 architecture softwares run and how they are designed, what is the purpose of it, what is the limitation of it. Then I will be discussing about what are three architecture softwares. So to discuss R1 in Vital, I have to take you back to the ages. I have to take you back to late 70s and early 80s. So after taking you back, I have to look at the computing world at that time. Guys, you know what was the size of a hardware at the time when it has started? Now slowly improvisations has happened. But we are not going to discuss anything about the hardware today. We are going to discuss about only software on it. So if I talk about the first operating system, what Microsoft has given to the world, the name of the operating system was MS-DOS. You know how does a DOS look like? At that time, there was no mouse at all. Everything used to be a keyboard and black and white monitor. And then everything used to be blinking here like this. And what we used to do, we used to use command line. What are the commands? So wherever you are typing your commands, guys, this command line is called as MS-DOS. Today also we have it. Yeah. But when DOS was into existence, people did not understand the reality and as well as advantage of computing. But slowly, people have understood the importance of computing when Windows has come into an existence. When Windows has come into existence, guys, the mouse, the color monitor, and all has come into existence. And today, what Windows we are using? Windows 10 Pro. So in that way, first Windows 3.1, Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11. So these were the series of Windows operating systems which were released. Once the people look at graphics, right, they have understood that this is an operating system. We as a common man, we did not think much at that time how this operating system is developed. Guys, to develop anything and everything, you require a programming language. What is the mother of every language, guys? Now, do you remember, firstly, do you remember the first day on which you have sat on a computer? What you have done at that on that day? We used to use computer only for playing games, listening to music, and you guys have watched movies also using a paint shop or paintbrush. Apart from that, we don't know what's the use of computing at all. Yes or no, guys? We don't know the importance of computing at all. We were normal individuals. We have not thought about like how the things have formulated or built. But there were some intellectuals who started thinking how this operating system is developed, and they have got an understanding that to develop anything on a computer you require a programming language, and the mother of every language is c. C plus plus, VC plus plus, turbo C plus plus, Borland C plus plus, all these C's mixed language programming. Windows is developed, and when Windows is developed and which is doing very good now in front of people, then the intellectual started thinking everything is out of programming language. So why can't we develop something which will be used on a daily life? And then they looked into the business world at that time. How business world used to run without a computer at that time, guys. If you go to a department which is finance department, the fellow accountant is sitting and writing what black and white movie you see, right? He's using a ledger and he's writing with the thing with a pen and paper. If you go to sales department and see the person who's doing a sales, he himself is writing with a pen and paper. Everything was on a pen and paper at that time. So, what this intellectual started demanding IT world is, gentlemen, can you develop a software or a package with which very important department of the business is finance. Finance should run. So with that demand, people have developed accounting packages. And today also we have lot many accounting packages, guys. And one such type of package, what we know is Tally. What happens in this accounting package is the accountant can sit on that computer. He can input all the all the information related to finance inside the computer or into that particular package. And once the package has that information, what would happen, guys? Before computing, what has happened, let me tell you. Then I'm going to tell you after computing what has happened. Guys, before computing, if your management want to do some what do you say, raw material purchase, right? So the management has to do what at that time? They have to call accountant and ask, tell me the status of the bank, how much I have, how many checks has to come in, how much has to go out. So poor accountant has to go back and do all calculation. After 3 days he's coming and giving that information, and in this 3 days the raw material what has to be purchased, the rates of the raw material has shooted up. So that means the decisions are taking time because of no computing at that time. But now, once this package has come into existence, what the same fellow did, he went back and he has taken three keystrokes and a fourth keystroke, print. Dot matrix printer has given a print, and the management can take a decision seeing that immediately. That means the change through which the business runs started happening because of the small package. And once such type of packages were developed, beside finance department, what department is there? Sales. The salespeople started telling, what? Gentlemen, if you are able to develop a package for running finance, why don't you develop a package with which we can run sales department as well? Sales are very important. Without sale, how you can get money? So with this requirement, people have developed a package for sales. And once sales package is developed, then material package is developed, then production package is developed. One packages are developed and they are loaded on normal desktops in one department. Then after this, the management started saying, what? Our business runs on computers. The management started saying this. Now, if you want to look at these environment in a practical fashion with a graphical picture, now you can look at this. What is this, guys? This is a first desktop. On this desktop, what is loaded? A package, accounting package. And whatever the package which is loaded, guys, that package is developed application, database, presentation, all clubbed as one unit. Understood? So one accountant can sit here at that time, no networking, nothing, just a desktop PC. And if you go to sales department, you'll be having one more desktop on which the package which is developed to run sales is loaded. Similar way, material department, a package to run material is loaded. Similar way, production department, a package to run production department is loaded. So four different consultants started sitting in four different computers and departments. They started entering the data. Right? People were very happy. At one point of time, they used to use a pen and paper. Now they are entering the data into the package. And whenever anyone want anything, they are opening the package and giving that information. If required, dot matrix printer is printing it out. Got it, guys? People were very happy. But when you see a software application with which application, database, and presentation were acting as one unit, we started calling this environment as R1 architecture software packages. And you know very well, guys, we human beings are born in such a way that we are never happy with anything. Once we start using something, we are going to come to know about the loophole of it. You sitting there and looking into this environment, can you tell me the loophole here? Come on, guys, you should be able to tell me. So now think that your business is in every districts of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and this computer is kept in head office Hyderabad. So what is happening in Guntur, Nellore, Vizag, Varangal, Chittoor, and everything? Still the people are doing the business with pen and paper. And the file which is required for this entire week, what their sale has done, what finance they have collected, someone has to take that particular file and come back to Hyderabad every weekend and give it to a poor accountant. This is Chittoor file, Nellore file, Vizag file, Vishakhapatnam file, then your Varangal file, Hanmakonda file, Karimnagar file. So that poor accountant has to sit and type all the information on Saturday, Sunday. Understood? So that means the environment is not online, right? That's one disadvantage. Second disadvantage is only one person is able to sit on such type of packages. Clear? So you can see the disadvantages. No multiple employees can enter the data. Only one accountant, one sales, one material, one production. No integration between these departments. What is happening in sales doesn't know to finance. What is happening in sales doesn't know to material. What is there in material doesn't know to production. No integration. This is another big disadvantage. And this is not an online system. And finally, what is the disadvantage? Application, database, and presentation all clubbed together acted as one unit. So what do you call this environment as? R1 architecture packages. Clear. And because of this disadvantages in a software application, then people started thinking, what next? What next, guys? R1 architecture has come to a stop still now. The people who started using initially, they themselves started telling what is this you have given us here? This is something like which is stopping our business now to increase. Give us a better software. So the people were struggling with this. The hardware industry has sprang up. From 1980 to 1992, the hardware industry has sprang up. The concept of what has come into existence? Server. Server is kept in one location in one data center, and these are all client desktop. At that time, there was no laptop at all, but client desktops. So people are connecting with their desktop via the birth of a LAN has happened. Damn, whoever has invented LAN, they have ruined our life because this LAN is today's. What is what is the importance of internet in common life, guys? Today, everyone know it. Before you sleep, you look at your WhatsApp and you sleep. What messages has come? What messages has gone? The moment you wake up, the very first thing what we do is this is all because of at one point of time when I used to come out of my home, no one know where I has gone. But now my people at home can monitor me where I am right now. Yes or no? This all has happened because because of what? Might be they're listening whatever I'm telling now. This all has happened because of internet only, because of LAN only. So yesterday's LAN is today's internet, wide area network, metropolitan area network, and then internet. So this LAN has come into existence. The desktops, which are in different locations, they can connect the server now with the help of LAN, right? So the people, the moment this hardware was enabled in the world, every people who were using this environment, they started buying the hardware. Now, after buying the hardware, gun has got ready. To make this gun fire, what do you require? You require a bullet. What is bullet here? Bullet is a software. So now, do you think this software will run in that environment? No. Someone has to develop another software application. And the condition is every user who is having a desktop with him should have what on that desktop? Presentation. Presentation is separated. Our presentation should be separated. And that presentation, what you can do, you can connect the server. On a server end, what is loaded? Application and database acting as one unit. So when this application and database act as one unit and the presentation act as one unit, we started calling this environment as R2 architecture software applications. Now the question here is, who has developed this software application for the first time to the world? Answer for that is, guys, the people who have developed the software were IBMers. The five IBMers have developed this architecture and this software. And after developing this software, they have named their software as mainframe. Guys, heard about mainframes? Might be heard about mainframes. Yes, mainframe software is what architecture, guys? I'm asking you what architecture and highlighting something here. At least tell that. R2
Arthur,
architecture. Wherein you have separate presentations and they are connected to the server, right? After separating the presentation from this, what all two things left out? Application and database. This application and database are loaded on a single server, right? So whatever the disadvantage, what I had here, one user, now multiple users. You cannot separate application database and presentation. Now you can separate presentation separately, application and database in one. So the moment this software was released, guys, the people who have jumped and bought this particular software for the first time were bank businesses. Today also, lot many banks runs on mainframe. You know that? Even though that's outdated, they have the mainframe servers. Clear? So now you're seeing this mainframe server software is running ICICI Bank, and who all these people every day who does business? Tell me, guys. These are branches. SR Nagar branch, Moti Nagar branch, Kalyan Nagar branch, Koti branch, Vanasthalipurem branch, or you talk about Kukatpalli branch and all. 100 branches are now connected to server. Do we know how the business go in the bank? Yes. If you have an account in ICICI now, what would you do? You want to deposit say 1 lakh rupees in your bank now. You will go to SR Nagar branch. Think that this is SR Nagar branch. You went into that branch and you are given a cash and as well as pay in slip. The moment you give this particular thing to the lady who's sitting in that cash counter, what she is doing? She is opening her presentation. The moment she opens her presentation, she will be connecting the server, right? And what she will be doing? So I'm just drawing the line to show what she will be doing every day. What would be blinking in front of her? In front of her account number would be blinking. Yes. So she'll be seeing your paying slip. She'll be typing your account number, and then hit what, guys? The moment she hits enter here, where the command will travel to a server, and in server where it is going to go? Application. An application is going to process it, and it will going to fetch the record, and within no time the user will have very clear information about that bank account. Yes or no? Now you're going to tab as deposit. In that deposit tab, she is going to type in the money and she is hitting save. And where she is doing all these operations? On her presentation, right? Do anything get saved on the presentation, guys? No, everything is saved in. So when one presentation is doing the work is given to application. When second presentation is doing the work is going giving to application. When third presentation is doing the work is given to. So whole load is falling where? Application, because application is a processing unit. But in our case, application and presentation are acting as one tier. So you cannot have as many presentations as you can because of the limitation of hardware. This is the main drawback here, right? So this is the main drawback here. For that, this R2 architecture, business wise, you have not many drawbacks, but architecture wise, this is the main drawback. So after seeing such type of drawback, then people started thinking, what all the drawbacks? Cannot separate application and DB. Then limited presentations can log in. Cannot have multiple applications. These are all limitations. And because of this limitation, then people started thinking, what next? Now I have to tell you a small information before I proceed on, guys. The people who have developed this R2 architecture were employees of 5 employees of IBM. Major 5 employees of IBM were Germans. These 5 employees of IBM did what? They were aware of very clearly the limitation of R2 architecture. So one day they went to the owner of IBM or owners of IBM and then said, R2 architecture has limitations. Please give us a time and money and a team so that we can develop better architecture software. This was a proposal from these 5 employees. And when these 5 employees went and said this to IBM owners, IBM owner said, whatever you are doing, please continue doing it, because we have lot many things around us and we cannot concentrate on this software and all. So please shut everything and do the job what is given to you. Don't come to us with the advices. You know, these five Germans are owners of SAP today. And the moment they said this, these were very, Germans are very ferocious people here. They resigned and they went back to their country. After going back to their country, they did not have a job. The only thing what they had in their mind was, because to develop a software, it will take years to gather. But as they have already developed their mainframe, they have the source code and everything. What they did, they sat for 1 year. They have developed similar kind of a software to mainframe and named it as SAP R2, and then released into the world. And after releasing, when you develop anything and release it to the world, you have to go to the customers to give the demo. So they were going to different places, giving the demos and all. Some customers were feeling happy also, they were buying it also. But one fine day, they were very unlucky that they went to a person or a management decision owner who has used mainframe before. And they went and they have demonstrated, this is, we have this thing, that thing, and that thing, damada dumda, 2 hours, 3 hours, they have given a demo. After listening to this 2 3 hours demo, that gentleman stood up and he clapped and said, what is this? Old wine in new bottle. What you have bought to me here? You bought old wine in, you bought mainframes to me again, and you have did color here and there, blue, and you're telling that this is a new software. It has its own limitations, right? Get lost, idiots, you wasted my time. Again, this people got thrashing. So once they got thrashing, they went back, kept R2 architecture aside, and started deciding if a next technology software has to come, what it should be and how it should be. It should be R3 architecture software, and how it should look like this. The concept of main server. On that main server, you should be able to load primary application. To this primary application, you can have presentations. As the presentations are getting overloaded, you can buy another server wherein you can load secondary application. And secondary application, again, presentations. And once this is getting overloaded, you can have another secondary application. And once that secondary application is also overloaded, what should you do? You should be going for another secondary application. So you should be able to increase as many as secondary applications. And if you can do so in a software, that software can be treated as, and whether it is a primary application or secondary application, data should be stored in central or single database. Now, if you can design such a software, then this software can be considered as what, guys? 3-tier architecture software application. This can be treated as 3-tier architecture software application. Now it's up to you. The design should be in this way. After designing it, people started developing it. And anyhow, multiple presentations are there. And if anyone can design such a software, wherein you can have a central database, to that central database, multiple secondary applications. And to that multiple secondary applications, multiple present. Business has to be increased, you need to open more branches. When more branches are increased, more presentations. If you can do that in your software, then that software is considered as free architecture. So how this software should be designed? Concept of application. Application is furtherly classified as primary and secondary. This is considered as secondaries are multiple. The next one tier. Then multiple presentations which are called as GUIs. So this is the three-tier architecture. And SAP were the first people to develop this architecture softwares to us. Got a clarity? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes? So now let us go ahead. You need to pull up your pen and book so that whatever I have explained you now, you should be able to write those differences. Are you ready, guys?
Excuse me, sir.
Chalo. Yes, beta.
Sir, your voice is breaking and screen is not visible for a while.
For a while, now you are able to.
No, screen is not visible, sir. What you are
Guys,
explaining in slides.
is this is this with everyone or only Yasin?
Voice is breaking for everyone, but the screen is visible.
Okay, I need to check for that. So, guys, mine is wired line here. It is not even Wi-Fi. Now let me ask Rohil. Rohil, you are able to see the screen and listen to my voice.
Yes, I can see. And voice was almost clear. No issue.
So that means, guys, if it is clear to one person, in the sense like other person has to check their internet better.
Maybe network issue. Yeah, the
Yeah,
internet
yeah,
problem.
yeah. You have to check your internet from your side, Yasin. So check from your side. I'll also check from my side better. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
now take
Sir,
down the
just sir,
yes,
how
ma'am.
can we see screen in laptop, sir? Presentation.
Now I am sharing it, right?
Again,
Sorry, your
your
voice
voice
is
is
breaking,
breaking,
sir.
sir.
Now see this. I have unshared it. I have unshared it. Again, I'm sharing it. So when I'm sharing it, you are able to see the
Ah,
screen now.
now it's visible, sir.
So that means, so that is what is here. I'm going to explain you again, and I'm going to show you everything better. By one. So for the
But again, your
draw,
voice is breaking, sir. Again, your voice is breaking, sir. The screen is okay, but your
line
voice is frequently
Yes,
breaking,
sir.
sir.
Again, it's breaking.
draw a line. Now everyone is having this issue. Please raise. Now, am I clear, guys? Was I?
Actually, Ahmed,
Yeah, Manu
so
Prakash, hands up.
sometimes
That means,
voice is getting interrupted sometimes, not every time.
okay, okay. Now this recording also come to you, Amma. You can just look at the recording, whatever is missed, please. So now, if you feel like similar kind of things are happening again and again, then you have to report it to me so that I have to check from my side internet connection. But from your side also keep an eye on your internet connection as well. Okay, guys. Chalo. Let us start with this. First of all, go to R2 and write down. R2 stands for real time or runtime. R2 stands for real time or runtime. Two-tier architecture. Real time or runtime, two-tier architecture. tier architecture. Now go back to R3. R3 stands for real time or runtime. R3 stands for real time or runtime. Three-tier architecture. Real time or runtime. Three-tier architecture. So two-tier architecture, three-tier architecture. Fair enough? Is that fair enough? Everyone know about it, but the only thing is we have given the difference. So what you have written about R2 guys, real time or runtime, two-tier architecture, software applications. So conclude your statement with software applications. Software applications. Real time or runtime, two-tier architecture, software applications. Fair enough. And then here also in R3, write down real time or runtime three-tier architecture, software applications. End your statement with software applications. Right. So after writing that, go back to R2 and write down in R2 architecture softwares.
But your voice is not
In
clear, sir.
R2, guys, is that for everyone?
Yeah, even
Yes,
I'm
sir.
facing the same.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
My goodness, this is becoming a little weird. Now I am just putting it out. Now how it is?
Nobody is fine, sir.
Able to hear me now?
Sir,
It is fine
Yes.
now.
I
Yes.
think I think it's your mic problem, sir. Some
My
disturbance.
mic problem? No, beta. I take a lot of classes. If my
Here,
mic
like
problem on it,
No, sir. Again, it's the same problem.
yeah, yeah.
We are getting some disturbance.
Pasha, yeah, Pasha, you can mute yourself. Now listen to it. If you have anything, raise your hand, please. Please hands down. So now let us go to R2. In R2 architecture, in R2 architecture software applications, that means I'm going to take you to R2 architecture now. This is it. In R2 architecture software applications, presentations, presentations act as one tier. Presentations act as one tier. And and application plus database, and application plus database act as one tier. Application plus database act as one tier. So the name, so the name, so the name, R2 architecture. So the name R2 architecture. Guys, you can see that presentation is acting as one tier. That's one tier. How many presentations? Don't bother. Multiple presentations, but they are presentations only. Then application plus database acting as one tier. This is two-tier software. So now go back to R3. Go back to R3. Write down In R3 architecture software applications, in R3 architecture software applications, presentations act as presentations act as one tier. Presentations act as one tier, and and central database central database act as one tier, and central database act as one tier, and again and applications, again and applications. Guys, after writing applications, open the bracket and write down primary and secondaries. Applications, primary and secondaries act as primary and secondaries act as one tier. Primary and secondaries act as one tier. So the name, so the name, so the name, three-tier architecture. So the name, three-tier architecture. Got it? Now go back to R2. Go back to R2 and write down in such software applications, in such software applications, one can, in such software applications, one can neither, that means I am going here, one can neither separate application and DB, one can neither separate application and DB, nor can have, nor can have multiple applications, nor can have multiple applications. Oh, sorry guys, you're writing in R2 or R3? R2. Nor can have multiple applications, because in R2 they are one. Now go back to R3 and write down in such software applications, in such software applications, one can, one can not only separate, one can not only separate application and DB, one can not only separate application and DB, but also can, but also can have, but also can have multiple secondary applications, but also can have multiple secondary applications to share the load of, to share the load of presentations, to share the load of presentations. Is that fair enough? Yes guys. Not only they can have multiple applications, but application and database can be separate. That means, see this guys, you can load this database in the same server wherein you have presentation primary, or you can load it separately as well. This is the beauty of three-tier software, or you can separate this primary onto other system as well. So this is the beauty of a software, what SAP has designed. Now, next example for R2 software. Example for R2 software are IBM mainframe, are number one IBM mainframe, comma SAP R2, comma SAP R2, and Tally, etc. and Tally, etc. These are all are examples of R2 software. Next, go back to R3. Go back to R3. Now write down example for R3 software are what guys? Here, what? All ERPs in the world. Guys, fundamentally, if your software needs to be an ERP, that should follow this architecture. If your software is not three-tier, you cannot call it as an ERP. Today, we don't call Tally as an ERP, even though Tally is. Why Tally is? We don't call mainframe as ERP. Why? So the fundamental law is if your software, what you're designing, can be loaded in this fashion into the system, then only we are going to consider it to be ERP. Write down all ERPs like SAP ERP, like SAP ERP, Oracle ERP, Oracle ERP, SAP ERP, Oracle ERP, Microsoft ERP, etc. Microsoft ERP, etc. Got it, guys? Every one of you. Do you get it? Now, the next difference is, guys, I have shown these diagrams to you multiple times. But before you come tomorrow, you'll get this video anyhow. Mauni is going to send it across tomorrow morning because it needs to be downloaded here. And once it comes to you, you need to sit and revise your entire class and draw one side R2 architecture, one side R3 architecture. So to this particular application, you need to have what? Presentations, right? Yes or no? So presentations, you can have it here. This is just to make you understand that multiple applications can be loaded. So this can be kept here. Again, this can be loaded here. In this way, you can have multiple applications. Another presentation. So these presentations are connecting what now? This application. This application. If you want, I can color it differently as well. Okay, so multiple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, multiple, you can have secondary application. Fair enough. Everyone understood this? I want you to draw this and see me tomorrow. I can also give you time to draw now, but I don't want you to do it right away. Go home tomorrow when you get a video, or else before you look into that class, you try to do it with on your own. How R2 architecture should be, how R3 architecture should be. You try to draw it on your own and see how much you are memorizing it. Clear? And once you are done with this, guys, what should be your tomorrow's class? Tomorrow's class should be very specific to SAP R3. Today, whatever I have discussed, guys, I have discussed generic. I didn't emphasize on any software as such. I said in that timing, these softwares exist. But now the time has come that I have to specifically discuss about SAP R3 software applications architecture. How many softwares are developed with or developed on R3 architecture? I have to discuss. To just give you a heads up, guys, any software which was developed by SAP between this time period, how many softwares were developed in this time period, the name of the software, what SAP has done. Guys, SAP is very clever in this matter. Why? Why SAP is very clever in this matter, guys? SAP has named the software on architecture. We don't call Oracle as Oracle R3. Oracle has a specific name as Oracle application. We don't call Microsoft R3. We call Microsoft Dynamics because they have given a different name. But SAP were the first people to tell the world, my software is 3-tier. To tell the world, they have named the software on architecture itself. Guys, it's very simple. We Indians are habituated to give a notebook, give a textbook and say, get a Xerox of this. The moment I say Xerox, you will understand that he's asking for making another copy of it. But actually, we should not say Xerox. We should say photocopy. Xerox is a machine which takes a photocopy. But what Indians do, outside also, you never see anyone writing photocopy. You see a Xerox. Xerox is a company name, yeah. What kind of name it is? Xerox is a company name. It is not. It is not. It's not a kind of activity what you do on that. The activity what we do is photocopy. Right? We have to actually say photocopy, but what we say Xerox. Why we say Xerox? Because Xerox were the first company to manufacture a machine which can take a photocopy. Similar way, SAP were the first people to design R3 architecture. They have named their software on architecture only. Not only this SAP architecture, guys, they have released one more software on the same architecture, which is called as another software with the name. I need to speak about these three software applications with various releases. You see that how many releases you have? Year on year, different releases. All the three softwares are same. If you load them, like this. But the importance of these three softwares are different. In this software, you have all the departments. But when it comes to BW system, it is for. And when you say APO system, it has supply chain management, warehouse management, and extended warehouse management. You have these many things. Got it, guys? Every one of you. I need to speak about these softwares which are designed on 3-tier architecture. I need to speak about their importance. How do they live? And we are going to initiate our administration and understanding of these softwares initially. right? And then after understanding the architecture thoroughly, we are going to think about installing our software look like. Guys, today we have named it as same thing in SAP you see. SAP software look like this, but the name is the only thing what SAP has changed is the names. We call that one as central database, but what is that you're seeing here? And what we call there is secondary application. What's the name here? So now, what names SAP has given to these things, you guys are going to understand tomorrow. And after understanding these names thoroughly, then next we will be thinking of what, guys? Installation process. Got it? By this time, you have to get a clarity. SAP software, whatever we are talking about, three steps installation. First step is, second step is, third step is finish. You guys are going to learn the installation. That's the reason I am going to teach you architecture and installation in sync, so that no one forgets architecture, no one forgets installation as well. Is that clear, guys? So let us catch up tomorrow to take your class further. And thanks for your patience, listening to me coolly. Or if you have any doubts as such, you guys can ask me now. Anyone have any doubts, guys? No one has any doubts. Chalo, guys, let us catch up tomorrow. Bye bye.